Hello, hello. I have no idea if anyone is in here yet. So I'm just waiting to check this out. Give me one sec. I'm gonna make sure that we got everybody on board tonight. For me, it's nighttime. It's so funny how the world is so small now that everyone can be hanging out with me, and you guys may just be starting your day. So if that's the case, then hope that today's gonna be a good one. Definitely looking forward to talking to you today because we're going to be talking today about my favorite topic, which is, of course, social media. I would say it's one of my favorite topics, okay, to be honest. So let me just get in here so I can start seeing if anyone is actually here. I hope you guys are here. Okay, am I actually live? And let me see what's going on here. Well, it looks like I am live, which is great. Now let's see if people can actually get in. That would be awesome. Let me just check the link here. Let's see, YouTube Live. Oh, can we see what's going on YouTube? All right. All right. Now I think I'm going to be able to see the comments, which is good, good, good. But I do not know why I cannot see myself. We're going to check if this is all going well or not. How come tech always gets in my way? Just going to do a real quick test here. Oh, there. Okay. Russ, I see some comments. So, Russ, can you hear me and see me? Everything's working fine for you? Because for some reason on YouTube, I see like a black screen of myself. But that's okay. I don't care as long as I can see the comments. Um, okay. Yeah, I actually I've done this event in the past on Zoom, but today I wanted to go on StreamYard, and so I'm using StreamYard with YouTube. Always trying to test out what's going on with tech. But definitely happy you made it and happy you're here, and hope that other people are going to be able to see me. If not, I'll be looking out for comments. Interesting. All right. Well, all right. So today I'm doing this recording. This is going to be recorded because I really feel like social media doesn't have to be as complex as I think a lot of people are making it. And so If you've ever felt confused or frustrated or burnt out by social media, then this is going to be interesting for you, because today we really want to talk about all of that and figuring out what we can be doing better, for everybody. So now I'm going to see if there's a way I can share some screen with you. Always my tech. See if I can get some slides sharing with you or not. Let me grab this. Okay. So let me see if one of these things, if I can share. We're going to try. Okay.
Hey, friends.
Okay. Now that I got this up, it took forever. Let me just see, how do I share my screen? Keep it simple. Yes. Yes, I know, Russ. I suck. Okay, let me see if I can share my screen. It says you can share this. So let me try to find the tab I want to share. Okay. So what we're gonna talk about today is the basics of how you can produce content quickly and easier. Now that I know how to share my screen, let me just get into this. Um, so what we need to figure out right away is your plan. Before you start producing any kind of content, you're going to be wasting your time if you don't have a clear plan. All right. Now, what do I mean by plan? You probably think, well, I already have a plan. But the truth is, most people, their plan isn't as bulletproof as I want it to be. All right. So the first thing we need to figure out is your goals. So tell me, what are your goals online? Typically people are going to tell me stuff like, they're trying to increase awareness about an issue. They're trying to really appeal to a certain audience. They're trying to become known as an expert in their field. Maybe you're trying to get direct sales or just get more traffic towards your website. But whatever you do, please make sure you have that goal. And when I say goal is, what is the outcome you want from social media? And be really, really clear about it. Because I think a lot of people just go in with vague ideas and then they get vague results. Okay. And I'm going to drop in the chat a link to a workbook that should help you with this. But it's really, really important to have those goals set up. Now, once you have your goals clear, then we need to figure out your audience. And I'm not going into these in much detail because I want to get to the juicy part. I want to be respectful of your time. But the audience, obviously, everyone thinks I know who I'm producing content for, but it's not that simple. We're looking for the niche of the niche. This is the micro niche within a larger niche. So if you tell me, for example, my niche are entrepreneurs, right? So that would apply to me. Well, we need to be a lot more specific than that. So what I would tell you is, I would say I serve either aspiring or existing service-based entrepreneurs who are looking for help in their sales and marketing. So you know exactly what you're good at. You have a service-based business and you know that's my expertise. I'm good at that. But I have problems figuring out the marketing and sales stuff. All right. And that's my specialty. So I help people. I don't teach them how to become experts in whatever they're supposedly doing for their clients, but I do help set up marketing and sales systems. And those things go hand in hand, okay? So that's what we need to know from you is you can't just be like, well, I can help everyone with my service. You can, but you shouldn't. You really want to make sure to stick with your niche. Russ says your goal is to create visibility in your niche and become known as an authority. Um, so, live stream strategy and production is a very, very, very big niche. It's huge. So, you have to narrow that down and figure out um, what part of live stream strategy and production, because, you know, not only is it a very, very broad audience that could potentially be interested in this, right? But also, it's a very big niche. So these two things are a big problem. So to create content easily and simply, you just really need to figure those things out first. This is part of the goal plan, right? Um, so are you trying to produce, become an authority for people who want to become live stream producers? Are you trying to become an authority for B2B corporations who are trying to set up live streaming, maybe for their internal needs or with their clients? Are you trying to create live stream authority for small business owners and entrepreneurs like me? Are you trying to become a live stream authority for nonprofits and good causes like fundraising? Or maybe you just want to be known for live streaming for events. There's so many niches you can go into. I even have noticed. I assisted last year in a live stream for a book launch, and I thought that's a whole niche right there. Is helping people launch their book with live stream. Um, so you gotta be real. So working with me as a business coach and as a market strategist, I am like going to ask you 1,000 questions, and you're going to say, well, I think that's good enough. And I'm going to say, no, we're going to go even deeper, because the deeper we go and the more we really niche down, the better your content will be. All right. Because what people like to know is that you're talking exactly to them. So when I say I help aspiring and existing service-based businesses with their sales and marketing strategies so that they can take the stress out of marketing and get more clients coming in, that's pretty clear, right? But if I just, you see where I'm headed. So we got to get really clear on who we're going to serve. Okay. So once you know the audience you serve and the actual goal, like to become a thought leader, then that becomes your mission on social media. You're like, this is my mission to reach these people with the goal of doing this, right? Building authority is great, but because I'm a business coach, I want to say that all your content has to have a call to action. So you definitely want to make sure that you are really not just putting out content and building authority without anything happening. So you need to measure that goal. What I mean by that is, when I said, you're trying to reach these people to do what? Well, how do you measure that? Now, here's the problem is a lot of people are measuring it by the number of followers they have. And that is wrong. I know a lot of broke people who have a lot of followers. In fact, on social media, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors. And I consult with people. I get people consulting with me either in a discovery call or paid consultation, who have amazing personal brands and who have built a following and have zero clients. And the reason is, even though that's a great perception, of course, it's more attractive if you've built a large following, your brand looks amazing. Behind the scenes, you may have really weak marketing and really weak sales strategies. So the call to action is making sure that these people are moving down a pipeline by giving them offers. All right. So it's not just putting out value, but it's getting them into more intimate settings. Like, for example, right now, asking people to come into a sign up for this event right now. Um, then that gets people onto my email list. That gets people to learn more about me because I've got your attention. And that's the most valuable thing you could ever give another human being is your time and attention. All right. So on social media, people are scrolling, even if they're following you, you don't even know if they're consuming your content or if they're ever going to take action. So make sure you put call to action to try to get them off of social media into your email list, into Zoom calls, onto these kind of private networks. All right. Community, get them into your community. That's so, so important. And the way to do that is by getting really, really targeted on how you produce content. So before we get into that, once you have your goals and you have your audience, you have to figure out your main two channels. Now, why do I say two? Because people consume content in different ways. So I want you to become pretty strong in producing two main types of content consistently. That also helps with variety, because you'd hate to have these amazing messages, but just because people don't want to consume it in the form that you're giving it to them, they don't end up using it. So make sure you have two platforms. So for me, right now, my two platforms are a live show slash podcast combined with written newsletter. All right. Blog slash blog. These two things really do the trick for me. And when I say your main channel, I'm definitely talking about video, audio, or written. All right. So you make the call. And so of course you're going to say, well, I could do all three. But no, I want you to pick two that you commit to. And that becomes what we call your cornerstone content. And it also becomes your main media channel. So, where could you have these main media channels? Let me tell you, if you're going to do it in writing, you want to have a website, all right? And this has to be on your website. So usually it's the name of the company slash blog. Some people have a whole URL that's just dedicated to the blog. I'm working with a couple of bloggers this past year, so I'm very familiar with this. So that's your main media channel is the blog. All right. Somebody who does this really well, I'll just put in the comment so you can check them out. Neil Patel. He's really good. His blog is really amazing. Uh, I don't know if I can show this on. Yeah, Neil Patel. So he has a really good blog. Um, I think Ramti. Oh my gosh, I'm butchering this guy's name. This guy, I'm gonna say, has a really good blog. So when you're looking for so you don't have to think right away what you want to do. You can think it over and you can start researching. So um if you want to have a blog, you definitely want to be checking out these types of people. This is another blog that's super popular. I will teach you to be rich. And then the third one, so we've got Neil Patel, we've got Ramti Sethi is the guy I will teach you to be rich. And then the third guy I really recommend is Tim Ferriss. So Tim Ferriss really knows what he's doing. And I think it's tim.blog. I'm going to check real quick. Okay, so this is if you're thinking about doing something in writing, all right? Um, So pretty much everyone now has jumped on the audio platforms on the podcast bandwagon. So the people I mentioned, Neil, Ramti, and Tim, they all have now podcasts. I don't know anyone who doesn't have a podcast. So if you're telling me what's your second channel, well, you're either going to go the podcast route or you're going to go the YouTube route. All right. So I just mentioned the three places you could do this is your own website with a blog, a podcast, and this would be on your website, obviously, right? Or YouTube. So I would prefer that you pick two. Um, some people go all in on one, but sooner or later they end up picking a second one. So, do what you can commit to. But remember, quality always is better than quantity. So some people have been putting out online, just post whenever you feel like it, post all day long, when that's actually not true. I would rather that you put out one blog post a week, but it's a great blog post that's on topic, that's well written, that has really been written with consideration to either timely events or your specific audience. The same for video, YouTube. So if you try to overcommit and put too much content out, you will fail, right? In the end, you will not put enough content out. So better you commit to one of those channels, either a blog, a YouTube, or a podcast, but you show up and you're able to do it. Whether it's once a week, twice a month. The main thing, yes, consistency pays off, especially if you're trying to grow a business. So people ask me, well, how much is enough? And my answer is depends on your goal. So remember in the beginning, I said, what is your goal? And if you know your goal, then you're going to adjust your content accordingly. So if you're telling me, I'm a full-time business owner and I want to grow and attract clients, then you're going to want to put out more content. Because in general, the more content you put out, the more you will grow. But it is a dilemma because, and that's what we're going to talk about today, is okay, I'm supposed to be putting out more content, but I have a full-time job, or I'm really a busy person, or I'm just not good at content. So then what do I do? And this is why people usually come to me and hire me. And I actually have a whole club where I teach this stuff that I'll be sharing with you guys later. But the truth is that I've really got it down to a science of producing content quickly and making it fun. So with my clients, in 1 hour, I can produce one month of content. You know, so that's really the truth. Um, but it all goes back to those cornerstone pieces of content. So let me just tell you, if you're going to do a blog, let's say that you commit to doing 4 blog posts a month. So that means we're going to post on the same day every week, your blog post. So we need 1 blog post per week, right? So what we can do is everything boils down to research, whether it's your blog or your videos, um, or your podcast. Everything goes back to research. So how do you find the research is with your target audience. You have to hang out where they hang out. Um, so, go and join some communities. Seek out people who are passionate about that topic. So why would you do that? Because you're gonna get people asking questions and you're gonna jump in and answer those questions. So if I'm interested in live streaming and I really have no idea about live streaming, I'm gonna go to a couple of places online and start typing in, live streaming so I can find communities or I can find answers, right? So Facebook, love it or hate it, it's still a big authority for groups, for people to go. I know that I'm on StreamYard. StreamYard has a huge community on Facebook. A lot of people come in there asking questions about live streaming who have no idea about live streaming. So I see all the time people like, oh, I'm looking to hire an editor or a producer or something. I don't even know where to get started. I need someone to coach me. So those are the places where you're gonna find clients. The second place, of course, besides the topic, is something related to them. So if you're going to serve B2B clients, you want to go and look if there's groups that pertain to them specifically, right? Like on LinkedIn, there's a group called the CMO network that's only for chief marketing officers. So if that's my target audience, I'm going to join that and I'm going to maybe share content about live streaming, ask, hey, I'm doing a live Q&A to answer any questions you have about live streaming next week. Here's the link to sign up. And you know that that's your target audience. So the people who sign up are going to be great candidates for your clients. And when they come, they're going to ask questions. And those questions are what you're going to use to produce new content. Um, so so really once you get this whole system down, it becomes so much easier. So now let's get into like the actual system of content production. So you've got your goals, you've got your audience, you've picked your channels. Um, what we're going to do next is we're going to actually talk about the 3 steps that you need to produce the content. All right. It starts first and foremost with having your buckets, your content buckets. I like to have no more than 5 total. And I like to have 3 of them be really on topic, and then 2 of them be a little bit more personal, you know, maybe in a related topic. All right. So let's say that we were going to do one about live streaming because Russ is here and you took the time to come here. So I should help talk about use you as an example. All right. So for live streaming, um, well, we clearly have some topics. So what we need is we need the tech, one of the topics, one of the buckets. And when I say topics, I like to call them buckets because within this we can put a lot of other stuff in there, right? So if I say give me 5 buckets, tech would be one of them. Okay. What would another bucket be for live streaming? Um, it would be, and when I talk about tech, I'm talking about, within that topic, we could talk about product reviews. We could talk about, StreamYard versus Restream. Those would be all kinds of topics you would fill the bucket with, talking about the tech. Tech meaning the equipment and the software. So you have unlimited topics to talk about, right? Um, mm, so I would call this. So another topic that would be a bucket would be the setup and the preparation, right? So someone's like, I have no idea where to get started. So how do I set up these things, right? Yeah, Russ says workflows. Okay, workflows and systems for guests. That's really, really specific. Um, mm, maybe what I would call it would be more like smooth live stream. mm, like how to have a smooth live stream flows. That would be kind of fancy. Um and underneath that topic, I would produce a ton of content that would be like um how to ensure that there's no hiccups during your next live stream, or how to troubleshoot your live stream, or what to do when catastrophe hits in the middle of your live stream. You could just keep producing all these topics and people would keep clicking on it, watching it. They would love those topics, okay? So we already have 3 so live stream 101 is a good one, and that's what I meant by um well, yeah, so we've got setup, we've got tech, we've got the actual live stream flows, and then maybe live stream 101 is like getting started, right? like when you're first launching your show. So what we want to do is we want these buckets to go through the whole life cycle of your ideal audience, right? So what are the logical steps? The first step is curiosity. They've never done a live stream before, so they're like, I don't even know what it's about, right? Then they've got, and that's where they'll have to do the setup, the preparation. Um, then then they would go and they would start their live stream. So you want the tech part. Then you would want the actual flows once they've done a few live streams, right? And then there's another big bucket that I would really include here is I would include um, uh, I would include the benefits of live streaming. So, and this is what I would call it. It would be live streaming as a sales tool. Live streaming as a sales tool. Um, yeah, like why should I do live streaming? Why start to live stream? That's a good one too. So you see now you're getting on a roll, you're getting all hyped up here. And now all we have to do is we have to take those and we have to create buckets out of them, all right? So ideally what we want to do is we want to create um hold on, I'm going to give this to you. We want to create a document where we have all the 5 buckets listed out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then underneath each bucket, we start filling up the buckets with potential titles, all right? Like what we just said, we said, live streaming 101. What do I need to get started? And then you just start listing off bullet points like crazy. So, and ideally what you're going to do is you're going to take I would prefer that you take 5 blank Word documents and you label them with the bucket names. You can do this, or you could use a fancy tool like Trello or Asana. I use both. But when you're just starting off, a regular Google Doc or a Word document will do the trick. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 documents, and you have these titles that what we would call bucket topics. And why do I call them bucket topics is because they're massive topics that we can keep putting subtopics underneath, and we will do that until the cows come home. Like we will never stop doing that. Somebody I will point out, because I've already shown you a few people who do blogging really well. Somebody who's really good with the bucket topics is Think Media. Think Media and Sean Cannell. I think that's how you say his name. So here we go. So if you check him out, he has Sean Cannell is the owner of Think Media, and he's actually doing a live right now as we speak. um, his bucket topics are very much similar. So he's like, why is YouTube still relevant? Or how to grow your YouTube channel for your first 1,000 subscribers, or how to get started with YouTube, or how to set up how easy setup systems for your YouTube channel. So he's focused on newbies, people who don't have a YouTube channel yet, or who, like me, only have 400 subscribers. Yes, I'm guilty. I know I suck. Um, so Sean is a big mentor of mine. And if I would only implement his advice and make it a priority, then I would probably have those 1,000 subscribers by now. So, it's one thing to know about the information, it's another thing to implement it, right? But what I really like about Sean in context of this example is if you have those 5 buckets and you put those 5 Word documents, you just start listing out all the bullet points of what I could potentially tell them about these topics. Don't write sentences. Don't go into, producing a long, lengthy content. Just put bullet points with titles, okay? And then now that you've got your 5 buckets and you've got your titles, Then you want to add a little bit of research to it. So you want to go out and you want to copy and paste some of your titles into Google, including, the video search results, like the YouTube search results, and you want to see what people are talking about. What comes up on the first page of Google when you say live streaming 101, right? What do we see on that page? And once we see on that page, we would start trying to beat them, right? Um Hold on, let me see if I can do this. I'm going to try. There we go. All right. So this is my home screen here, and that's my cat. So I'm going to type in live streaming 101 because that's a big topic. That's a bucket topic, right? So right away, you can see we've got almost 60,000. Um, wow, that's crazy, the results, right? So here's some great question. People are asking these questions, right? These are ranking questions. How to live stream for beginners, right? How should I prepare for live stream? What is live streaming and how do you do it? So what you want to do is you want to actually take these questions and you want to say, I'm going to produce really good answers for these questions with the channel that you told me you want to use. So are you going to do a blog? Are you going to do a video channel? Are you going to do a podcast, right? So if you're using video, you're going to produce video with those answers. Um and then based on these search results, you're going to go back to your bucket list and you're going to maybe modify things, add something. um, here there's checklists. I love checklists. People love listicles, right? And you can see who ranks really high by doing this. Remember, the first page results are always going to be the best content, because they have the most keywords, they have the most authority for those keywords. Um, and if you can see, you're watching my Google right now, you can see that I actually have a tool over here to find long tail keywords. In fact, I have two tools, this one right there, and then Uber Suggest. And I use those to, if I'm looking for keywords, I can say, whoa, that's going to be hard to get. Everyone wants that, you know? But this is just a good idea that you could read through here or watch some of these videos and you could get a great idea of what you want to talk about. What angle are you going to take on the topic? And the more niche down, the better. So if you could say live streaming 101 for coaches, live streaming 101 for for companies, or using live stream at your next event, you know, that's what you want to do. Is you're going to rank higher if you take that broad term and then you add something onto it to niche down further. So that's just an example. And the other place that you can go to get ideas for your content is here. So let me see if it shared. No, it didn't. Hold on. Stop sharing. Let me go and share this with you. Let's see. We're going to see if anything comes up here. All right. So here's one of my other go-to places. And I have a lot of go-to places, by the way, where you can get content ideas. All right. So this website is a dream. It's called Quora. All right. And it's a very popular website for writers to do research. And I think that not it's not as popular as it should be for content creation in general. So you can use this to produce all your content. So what we want to do is we want to start following the topics that interest us. So here I just typed in live stream and it's followed by 18,000 people. Then I see that there's a few other keywords that aren't followed yet, like live streamers, live streams. So all of these are like topic names. But what you really want to look at is these questions. What are people asking, right? So people are asking questions. And the idea that you want to do is, number one, get inspired by saying, okay, I can answer these questions. I'll produce content about it. And number two, set up your Quora account and start actually answering, because that's what it's about. If you answer here, it will inspire you and then you can use it elsewhere, okay? So people are going to ask questions. What's the best streaming software? Can you use multiple cameras? So you don't have to spend hours here, but if you can come in here a couple of times per month. Russ says Reddit is a good one. Agreed. Reddit is good. Another one is called Ask the Public. Ask the Public is another website that I use. But I don't even do that much research, I'm being honest with you, because I have an audience. All right. So this is great when you're just getting started or just like as a supplement. My main source of content is my own audience. I actually have built quite a great audience of clients, leads, supporters, like-minded people, and I hear tons of questions and frustrations and concerns. So the best content, people, is always going to come from questions that people have that you can answer. That's where you're going to be able to position yourself as an expert and give value. Pain points that they have, obstacles they have, the more you know your audience, that's why it's so important to niche down. It's so much easier to reach a micro niche than it is to try to take over the whole world, right? With keywords as well. Going after smaller keywords is the way we do it with SEO, right? So that's really important. And so now that you've got your buckets and you know how to start bullet pointing, get titles, there's another tool that I want to throw at you that is really helpful, because we're talking about researching, right? Well, another thing you can use is this tool right here. I'll just drop it in the chat. This is for specifically for titles, because remember, under each of your buckets, you're going to start coming up with titles like, you know, how do I get started with live streaming? So take those titles and try to make them even more niche down, like I said earlier, right? By saying something like, how do I get started with live streaming for, service providers or service experts or service-based businesses? Just whatever you can come up with, do those things. So this tool specifically will help you with your headlines. You'll write stronger headlines because, guys, content has a lot to do with titles. And what I've already taught you right now is how to find your topics and then start writing titles for the topics, all right? So now the third part and the last step is actually producing the content. So we already talked earlier about your main channel, whether it's video, whether it's blog, whether it's a podcast. So what you're going to do is you're going to get out a calendar for 30 days, all right? And you're going to right away pick the days that you commit to posting on your main channel. So let's say that you say, I'm going to commit to posting one blog post per week, and I'm going to do one live stream per week so that there's a good balance, right? Put that in your calendar. For me, it's Mondays and Fridays, all right, in my calendar. And then I can adjust everything accordingly. I like to batch produce my content, so I will write 4 blog posts, um, in a weekend. Well, it takes me about 2 hours to write 4 blog posts because I research them. I'm a perfectionist, of course. Um, but you see what I mean? And then it's done. And then you do this, you say, when can I record my podcast or when can I do my live stream? Whatever channel you're using, once it's in that 30-day calendar, you're going to be a lot better off. All right. Um, and then you want to uh plan out your all your editing and your post-production work, and figure out, are you going to do that or are you going to outsource it? And if you're going to do it, when are you going to do it? All these things have to be put into your calendar right away so that you have the whole month planned out. I personally like to go in and do graphics all at once. I do all my thumbnails for the month. So I write all my blog posts for the month. I produce all my thumbnails for the month. I've got the systems down, and the systems are what's going to make the content production so much easier. All right. Um, so uh, Russ is on spring break guesting on other shows. I love it. I love it. Well, you can be brainstorming all these ideas, and like I said, get out a calendar and plan out. Like, here, I have my calendar behind me, but I use an online calendar. One good social media calendar is HubSpot. So HubSpot has a free editorial calendar. Let me see, HubSpot editorial calendar. There it is. So if you're going to produce content, already just seeing the whole thing in one place is so helpful. All right? You need to have a calendar, and you need to plan in 30-day increments. Producing content on the spot is cool, but if you don't have those systems in place, you're going to stress out. It's like when I was a kid and my parents told me to get my backpack and my school stuff ready the night before, pack my lunch the night before. Social media is just like school. All right. So download that free editorial calendar template, and that will help you a lot. I'm also going to give you guys this little worksheet that I prepared that I hope will help a few of you. So this has just a bunch of goodies in it. So grab this. I'm going to put this in the chat while we're talking about downloading stuff. So, oh, that was theirs. Hold on. This one. Okay. And that's mine. It's a little workbook that could help you to plan out a little bit your topics and such, and get more clarity around what you want to do. Remember, the riches are in the niches. So please always think about niching down even further. You want to differentiate yourself from the other people around you by your content, by your personality, and by your voice. So we haven't talked about that because we don't have time, but in my program, I teach about developing a voice. That's what makes you stand out. What makes you memorable. So today, let's just do a recap. So the system is basically to set up your buckets, and these buckets should not really change, right? That's why they're called buckets. I want them to be so like pillars for you that you can fill the bucket unlimited with new content, right? And that's why I said Sean Cannell, he does a great job. You know, your topics do not get old. You don't know who saw them. Next time there's going to be a different person seeing it. So, and you want to become known as a thought leader, you're going to have to repeat yourself quite a bit. And there's just slight variations. We do A and B testing with titles. So sometimes a video will be the same, but there's a different title on it. So never be thinking, oh, I have to come up with new stuff all the time. Heck no, you can recycle stuff. And again, this is something I teach in my program. So we didn't talk about distribution either. So once you've got your buckets, you've got the system of really researching and putting together all these wonderful topics within each of the buckets. Then you've got your editorial calendar and you planned out when you're going to post what type of content. Those are your pillar contents on your channel, right? And I'm going to stress that again, on your channel. So if you tell me my pillar content is going to be on Facebook, I'm not so happy about that. I would like it to be on your website as much as possible. The only exception is, of course, YouTube. YouTube is really an exception to the rule because it really does feel like you get a lot of ROI out of YouTube. The longevity is really great. The SEO is really great. Um, you know, there's just a lot of reasons why I think YouTube can be considered your own channel. Whereas usually I'm telling you, it really has to be your website. All the other platforms, there's no longevity. Um, Algorithms control who sees your content, and it's not easy to really stand out on those platforms. But you're going to do a good job if you keep showing up consistently, which is why you need an editorial calendar, because then you can really not flake on people. They know that you have your show every Friday. They know that your new blog is published or your newsletter goes out on this day, and they start expecting it. All right. So be consistent, batch produce your content if you can, but definitely prepare stuff way in advance. And then keep your calls to action in there. I mentioned that in the very beginning. You really want to say, what does this lead into? So let's say that I'm going to launch a new program, a paid course. I'm going to go back and I'm going to produce 7 different content pieces that lead the person to buy the course. So we're going to be all over that topic because it's leading up to me announcing the doors are opening, you can buy the course, I'm launching the course, whatever. So that's how you have to play around with content. Content can be really fun, doesn't have to be stressful, as long as you understand how to organize things. So it really is all about systems, all right? And in your content, you want to have links. I don't like to produce separate sales content. As a business coach, I don't like to, some people I see them posting like really casual, personal things. They want to be liked. And then all of a sudden, they just suddenly launch this spammy, terrible sales post on everyone. And what that does is it shocks you. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. What happened to the person I'm used to? Where is this coming from? Instead, what I like to do is I like to integrate my sales into all my content. So I'm always talking about, here's something else. Thank you so much, Russ, for coming. Really appreciate it. And I hope if you have any questions, I hope this was helpful for you. Before you go, grab the worksheet, the PDF that I put in there, and then the HubSpot link as well. Because those are really helpful. I suppose you have an editorial calendar for your shows because you do so many of them. But definitely, I'd love to talk to you anytime about this because this is really a passion of mine. So if you have any questions, guys, you can drop them in the chat or you can reach out to me on any social platform. I'd love to hear from you guys about what kind of challenges you might have with your content. But literally behind me, I actually have a board where we planned out all the buckets here. Whoa. There, I'm trying to show you. I know with my camera, I'm like, so, these are all topic ideas underneath each of the buckets. And like I said, I didn't really hit up the repurposing, but obviously, if you're going to have your cornerstone content on a weekly basis on your primary channel that's within your topics, within your bucket, with great, amazing titles that you know people are searching for, and that you've come up with a lot of value to answer those things. Obviously, the last step is to repurpose that content, right? How do you draw people over to that content? So, what you can do is you can prepare a short post that's a teaser where, if it's a video, you can create a short clip. If it's a podcast, you can do the same thing. You notify people with your on email, right? That there's a new podcast coming, and give them motivation why this podcast is epic, why they should watch it, what's in it for them, right? So you want to get consistent about that. So this is one app that really does that very well. Headliner app, you can create a short video out of your audio, and then put that up on social media and talk about, hey, come, listen to this short clip. If you want to hear more, come to my website and listen to the whole thing, right? Do that again on your email. Do that on various social platforms. And of course, the same thing with the blog. But today, everything's kind of interconnected, guys. So when I said in the beginning, you have to kind of pick what form you want to specialize in, video, audio, or written. As we all know, sooner or later these things intersect. So unless you're telling me my thing is TikTok and that's what I do and I'm just producing TikTok, then you're going to do TikTok and Instagram, of course, right? If you're on YouTube, you're going to probably be doing YouTube plus one other channel, so either LinkedIn or Instagram, right? Instagram if you're in a B2C market, and um, LinkedIn if you're in a B2B market, right? So I always like to pick my main platforms that I'm going to be driving traffic from. But that's it in a nutshell. That's how you create social media content without much stress. And we can literally sit down. You could sit down with me and we could map this all out for you in an hour. And we would have all the subjects that you're going to produce content for. And then we would schedule it in your calendar. When are you going to produce it? When are you going to do the post production? When are you going to do the thumbnails? And when I say you, it could be that you've got a team, so you know exactly what's happening, who you're going to delegate it to, and that's it. And that's how you take the stress out. I hope this was helpful. If you guys have any questions, I'm always here to do this. And I do want to just tell you guys the last thing, because I'm not selling you in this event or anything, but I do want to tell you guys that I'm going to be sending you a special offer if you're interested in my community. What I've done is I've built a community around a month-to-month program, or there's a lifetime access version of it. And this is a program where every single month I do a masterclass with materials, with presentation, and I really walk you through all kinds of aspects, like how do you really research good content? And we go into a lot more detail. I give you more tips and tricks. We talk about SEO. I've got a whole masterclass around SEO. We talk about individual platforms like LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Um, and we talk also about the conversions. So, how do you go from posting something online to getting a DM or selling your program to somebody? So, where's that connection? How does that happen? And so, I'm going to send you guys more information because I do have a special offer for you guys for anyone who registered for this. But I've taken up enough of your time tonight. For me, it's night. So I hope this was helpful. Definitely reach out with any questions. and I will see you next time for sure. Take care, guys.